And we are live. Why? How did I wind up in the future when I went live? The minute I went live, we were live for 15 seconds. How does that
It's the
happen?
wonders of modern technology, just like your dad said.
That's right. There's nothing new under the sun that won't fuck up. It's all gonna fuck up. Let's just get right into it, shall we?
You're about to witness the strength of creep knowledge.
Good evening, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 204, Parabreakdown 2, Electric Boogaloo. Welcome. Joining me as always is Katie. And tonight, returning to the show, it's been a hot fucking minute. Phil Poling from Parabreakdown on YouTube. Good evening, Phil.
Good evening, Chris. Katie, how you doing?
Good. I have to admit we've been talking about your videos quite a bit lately, Phil.
Yeah, you're on quite a roll.
Damn.
It started
Good or bad?
it started with, well, first of all, I hate your commercials. And nothing you can do is going to change that, even using shit that I put on my page.
Right. Well, those were some of the better ones.
But yes, they were. But which one was it? It was like a top 10 one you did. But it was before that. It was a little before that I really started noticing like the videos that you were putting out, because you were, if I recall, you were in a slump for a while.
Yes.
Okay. And then you just started putting out a slew of videos. And I was really enjoying them. You kind of took a different turn with everything. You were way more tongue in cheek about everything. Not so much breaking it down. I mean, sometimes you do, but more just poking fun at it.
Yeah. Some were well deserving at just having some fun poked at them because it was so damn obvious when anyone had seen them what was going on.
Oh yeah.
So
and that top 10 one you did was fucking hilarious.
yes,
Yeah, that was fun.
the date for that one.
My Jack has joined us for the evening. Jack, welcome. So yeah, I started watching your videos again when you started posting all these new ones, and I've kept up, fairly regularly. I mean, if I miss something, I go back, I look. But the the one that you picked up from this show that we talked about, the UFO that was caught supposedly
Right.
in the
This
time
creek.
lapse.
Yeah.
And I was like, Phil, if you see this, take a look at it. And of course you did. And that one you actually like did kind of more of a breakdown than you did poke fun at it. Which was
Yeah, well,
interesting.
it was more or less just a simple explanation.
Right. So to give everybody an idea, an idea of what we're talking about, this guy posted this time lapse of these lights in the sky that seemed to make these erratic movements, and he didn't seem to have any explanation for it. And Phil takes a look at it, and he's fucking fun ruiner that he is. It's just fucking planes going into the airport.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's timed exposures, and then they run it back in video format, and that's what happens.
Yeah. So, and well, and not only that, didn't he do like a long exposure where it was just the lines, not even the video?
Well, I think what it was is in a lot of cases where you have what's called time lapse on your camera,
Mm-hmm.
it generally is just a series of still photos to begin with. And what you do is you set it how many seconds apart you want the photos, and for how many seconds you want the shutter open to capture whatever it is you want to.
Right.
So in this case, it was in fact just a series. Just by looking at the video, it was a series of still photos, and then when you string them together in the video format, it plays back like it's an actual video, but it's just a series of individual shots. So he could pick a shot out of anywhere in there, and he'll get a trailing end because the shutter was open for several seconds. So it's just like those shots of cars on the freeway. You're going to see long tail lights and so forth in one single shot.
So, and one of the reasons why I had asked you to come on was so that we could talk about film technology and where it's going and where it has gone and how much it's progressed. And I know you have a background in that. And I don't know how much we've talked about that, but could you give everybody kind of like an idea of what kind of a background you have in that, so that they don't think, I just don't want everybody to think that you're just some fucking jackass on YouTube that doesn't know what you're talking about.
Again. Still. Okay, so when I got out of the Coast Guard back in, when was that? Late 70s. And I'm an old guy. And late 70s, I decided, I get this college credit stuff and I need something to fill the credit line. So I went ahead and I took dark room photography, 1979. And did that, took advanced darkroom then. When I moved to Northern Washington, I took advanced darkroom. I also took the zone method, which is Ansel Adams' method of photography. Print photography, more darkroom, and videography. So I have a lot of learned skills, but also when I was a police officer back in the 80s, because I knew a lot about photography. Oh, I also took a forensic photography course when I was a police officer.
Right.
And we had a complement of 20 officers on our force in Astoria, and they had no crime scene photographer. So naturally, who got to be crime scene photographer? Yours truly. So yeah, so I do have some background in that.
Nice. So, what made you get into fucking doing videos anyway?
It was my sons that did. They were making videos about a local church, of all things, that was one of these type of churches that the money was the thing. It was the prosperity method of whatever religion, and there was a lot of things going on, a lot of embezzlement happening, people being of the community, our community, being sucked into this church. And so they started making these videos about it, and I helped them on a few. And I decided, I'll start making videos too, because I've got the stuff here to do it with. And so I came up with a channel called Super Soylent. And it was just basically a pawning channel where, these crazy guys inventing all kinds of inventions that don't work, run your car on water, things of that nature. And then I would flat earthers, anything like that, and I would basically get on and just pwn the hell out of them.
And that's when you got into pwning the fucking rods guy, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Jose Escamilla.
Yes.
May God have mercy on his soul. Good old Jose. And and of course, that's also when the other thing happened with the Bigfoot photograph.
The Bigfoot photograph.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Melissa Hubby.
Right. So now, did that happen when you were as Super Soylent or Parabreakdown?
It happened when I was Super Soylent. Right at the end, it was like one of the last several that I made, and I was just starting the Parabreakdown channel at that time.
So what made you switch over?
A friend of mine that people call Sean Evidence said, you got a knack for these breakdowns. The Bigfoot community, since you already are into like the Bigfoot world type of thing, you should start this other channel and just do Bigfoots. And I told him, well, I didn't want to just be trapped into Bigfoot. I want to accompany all of the paranormal world. So I'm not just strapped to one thing,
Mm-hmm.
even though Bigfoot's was a big push because of his channel was Bigfoot Evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But so we decided, now, well, let's do a paranormal breakdown instead. So that's how I ended up with that.
That's funny because I got the same exact spiel when I started my show.
Huh.
You should do a Bigfoot show.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't want to get pigeonholed into just doing Bigfoot. I want to be able to encompass all the topics.
All the cryptids, all the mysteries,
Yeah.
whatever you're looking for.
Or whatever I want to talk about, really. I mean, it's the strange. I mean, it doesn't...
The unusual.
Yeah. I mean, fuck. We went over that, Missy Beavers. Have you ever heard of this story? The Missy
No.
Beavers story? Okay. We went over this on this show. This woman was killed in a church, and she was going there in the morning to open up for a fitness class, I think that she did, or some type of weightlifting class or something,
like yoga or something.
Yeah. And when the people arrived for the class, they found her dead. And when the subsequent investigation happened, they found video of inside the church, and there is video of this person, you can't tell whether it's male or female, in complete SWAT gear, head to toe, just nonchalantly walking through the fucking church, opening doors, closing doors.
I do remember this.
That was
And
creepy.
it is one of the most... I'm getting chills now just fucking talking about it. It is one of the creepiest fucking things I've ever seen in my life, because you know as you're watching this video that this person more than likely killed her.
And he was systematically checking at his leisure all of these doors and closets, and
correct,
just like he was just browsing.
Yeah. But but that's the type of stuff I even want to be able to talk about. That type of shit. I don't want to be just like, because that stuff is strange in and of itself too. And human beings are some of the strangest fucking creatures on the planet.
No doubt.
I mean, look at the stuff they do.
Look at us.
Look at the stuff they do with these Bigfoot videos, for fuck's sake. I mean, that in and of itself.
It's not just methodology, though. It's also, what's the motive? What's the motive behind them? And they're so wide and varied. That's one reason why it's so hard sometimes to put your finger on a video, because you don't know where they're coming from. You don't know if they're pranking. You don't know if they're deliberately hoaxing. You don't know if they're just delusional and they actually believe it.
Right. Or if they're just an innocent person who's just like, oh, look at this.
Look at these orbs.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And
so
it's very difficult sometimes for me to pick out what I want to do, because I can't quite read it. Sometimes I can figure, I'll just tell you what's happening here, and I just won't comment on the person posting or whatever. I'll just the nuts and bolts.
Yeah, and then just let the people do their own shit. Let come to their own conclusions, as MK Davis would say.
You decide.
Yeah.
I'm no expert.
I'm no expert.
Yeah.
You come to your own conclusions. Who he almost sounds like is Bob Ross.
Oh yeah, in a way he does, doesn't he?
In a way, MK Davis. Yeah, he's
put this little happy little Bigfoot right here.
He's got a fucking Bob Ross quality about him.
I think it's a white Bigfoot here. It's a happy white.
I am gonna butcher the fuck out of this name, but Ruarid Fraser Douglas. Yeah, people are fucking nutters.
I'm not crying it.
Yeah, I agree with you. Yeah, don't. That's a fucking tongue twister, that one. I mean, the
I-
Fraser Douglas I can do.
Yeah, I bet he goes by Fraser.
I hope so.
Roreed? Roreed? I think it's that.
I don't know. So Phil starts his Parabreakdown channel. So kind of brings us to where I come in. I started annoying the fuck out of Phil at one point or another. When I was hanging out with Jeff and Steve and everyone over in Team Taser. Back in the Team
Oh,
Taser
yeah.
days. Phil.
Oh yeah.
And it's been a while. God, I mean, I started in that page in 2013. I think was the first time I posted in there.
Yeah, it couldn't have been earlier than that.
No, it was early.
Yeah.
No, it was earlier than that because that was the
Really?
year I went to California. It was 2012,
Mm.
early 2012.
So I was still doing my my other channel.
Yep. And I remember the first time they had you on the Extinct podcast.
Right.
Because that was my thing. Like I would wait for, I think they did it on like Sunday nights. I can't remember now. It's been so fucking long. But it was Michael Merchant, Rosa Hebe, Sean Evidence, and Damian Bravo. For what fucking reason, I still to this day don't know.
I can't answer that question at all.
I don't expect anybody to answer it for me. I just don't. In retrospect, I don't understand where Damien fit into that. But hey, those guys wanted him on there, so kudos to him. But I loved that show. I would wait every week for it. And
there was a lot
I got,
going on. There was a lot going on with it.
Oh yeah. And there was a lot. So this is something else I want to get your take on. It being so many years later. So we all, myself and a few other people included, got sucked into the Justin Smeha story. And I actually went out to California, went to the site with an old girlfriend of mine. We'll just leave it at that. And I was pretty well taken in by the whole story at the time. I can admit that wholeheartedly.
I was too.
I was like,
you mean the shooting the Bigfoot story, or what followed with the follow up with all the thermals?
the shooting the Bigfoot at first.
Okay.
All right. So I was and I have I'm getting into the thermal video. So there was a lot to unpack there. There was a lot going on with that whole story. And the more and more I delved into that story, the more and more I tore it down. And then the thermal video comes out. Now, the thermal video is only given credibility, in my opinion, because of the breakdown that was done afterwards. However, or the recreation, I mean. However, that being said, I have reservations still about that thermal.
As many people do.
I have a lot of reservations about that thermal video now. I'm curious if Bart Catino has any reservations about it now.
I think that he still feels that they're the real thing that he caught.
Yeah.
And at the time that I made the 16-minute breakdown showing everything that was done, I don't know if you recall the way it was ending. I couldn't put myself into saying this is definitely these Bigfoots.
Right.
What I could say is that this is the way that the research should be done.
Correct. Remember that. But my thing is that since then, since all that time, and since like there's been so much time that's passed since then. Like I went out there in 2013. It's now 9 years later. I feel totally different about it. Completely different about it. And I'm curious. I know you never really believed in the Smeha story, correct?
Oh, no, I don't. Never
Okay.
did.
Never did. But so this would be my question for you, and you can say no comment if you'd like. Have your feelings about the thermal changed?
No.
No. Okay.
No, it was done the right way. I think that given the direction and who was in the camp other than Smeha, the fact that there was a person with Bart Catino that verifies what was going on, the direction of where they were viewing these things, and the direction of the camp, which was off view, and the location. You were up at that location. Someone could have driven in, but they would have heard it. They would have saw the headlights. They would have heard.
They would have heard it, but here's my other problem with that. Justin has a friend that lives on that mountain who's a rancher.
Yes, down below.
And he has horses.
Yeah.
So
and to get up to that spot, correct me if I'm wrong, you have to take that same road up there.
You have to take that same road. However, the way that road winds up in and around, you'd never know until someone was right up on you, up on the top ridge, because it comes up and around and then comes back down into the camp, and the road's up above. So if someone was coming up and around that, I don't know that you'd hear them being down in that, because that camp's down in a bowl.
Okay, cool.
Do you understand what I'm saying?
No. I got it. The other aspect to it, though, is if it was in the middle of the day, I could see somebody, even if they were familiar with that area, coming in and sneaking into where the trees are, or whatever. But in the dead of night with no flashlights, because no one reported ever seeing any lights at all.
Right.
And it was a quarter moon. There's no way you'd be able to see your way into where they were in pitch blackness.
Yep.
So yeah, I'm still saying that could be the real thing. I'm not going to poo-poo the whole thing or say, yeah, absolutely it is. But I'm certainly not going to, excuse me, I'm not going to just, eliminate that as a possibility.
Yeah, and my other problem is how many bears are up there.
Oh, there's a lot of bears, brown bears, big ones.
Yeah, and they are big, and I've seen one. I have a video of one, and it was so fucking big that the biologist that was with me was like, "Is that a fucking brown bear?" So,
yeah, I can tell you, those weren't bears that I saw in the thermal.
Well, right.
No.
I just, at this point, I think anything that's related to that is suspect, in my opinion.
Sure. I mean, there's always a way. There's always a way in and out of the opinion.
That whole investigation.
The thing that changed for me was the Smeha aspect to the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing.
That's what taints it for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And it is. That's what it puts a fucking slick on it.
Yeah.
That you can't get off. And it's unfortunate, because if the research is solid, okay, if Catino's research is solid, and that's the real thing, okay, it sucks because it's stained by the other shit.
Yeah. It was one aspect to this whole thing was quizzing Catino and others about Justin's actions before and during. if it wasn't for the fact that Justin had drank an entire case of beer and then crashed out on the hammock and was there, or the cot, and was there the whole night, snoring away.
Right.
Yeah, I would even question it. But apparently he was like completely out of the whole situation by that time.
Right. Which I totally buy that. I've met him. I totally buy it. I've met him a couple of times. I was woken up by him one morning, and I've had dinner with him. So, but yeah, that my feelings about that whole thing over time just changed. Like it was just, I was like, because I was all in. I was like, yeah, and then it just fucking changed.
The idea that you have 3 large Bigfoot wandering around in view of the camp, and you have like Rosa Hebe and others saying, there was something up in there moving. We couldn't tell what it was. You're going to question it, no matter how good the evidence or circumstantial evidence is. You don't have what it takes to reel in the incredible.
Right? Yeah.
You're like, we got this incredible claim here. Let's see what kind of evidence we have to back it up.
Now, you're a guy that believes that nothing on film can be proof.
Yeah.
So now here's a question for you. Is there any way that camera technology could improve that you would be able to say, I totally believe that's a real thing?
Camera technology, no. No, I don't think the only place for that technology to go right now is the optics being improved to the point where you could take a wide angle shot, and then put it on a processor after the fact and actually have a clear close up.
Oh, so you mean like to be able to just zoom in on any area with
a processor after the fact? Yeah,
right, with complete detail.
With complete detail, that would be the ticket, because right now the light sensors and digital cameras, they only have so many megapixels assigned to them, and the sensors can only be a certain size depending on the camera. Right. So there's limitations there that haven't been seen yet. The other limitation would be seeing as we see. The cameras can't see what we see because we have one eye left the other one. The only way to be able to discern would be 3D.
Right.
And to have, let's say, an iPhone that has 3D technology where the camera lenses are spaced 3 inches apart.
Mm-hmm.
And be able to have a 3D processor on your laptop, and a laptop that would show the 3D imaging. That's a long ways away. Well, I think it's a long ways off. But
why for? How come?
Well, I mean, you would have to have, first of all, you'd have to have a screen that would split view, and then you'd have to have glasses that could see the split view in 3D.
Oh, okay. I see what you mean.
It's probably not that far away, but I think I think 3D cameras, I think, would be the next thing. That way you'd be able to see whether or not that's a leaf that's like right in front of the camera or something at distance.
Oh, right. Or if the fact that the 2D image is forcing it into to look like it's in a certain spot.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's 2D is like a sheet of paper. You can't perceive distance on it.
Right. And same thing with video. Like I'll never forget that. I'll never forget there's a video. I think it was one where a dude was blowing something up, and you even fucked it up a little bit, because I think Matt corrected you, if I remember correctly.
Oh, you mean the one with the blade of grass?
Yes. Yeah.
Matt Nab caught that one. And I'm like, God, I can't believe I didn't get that. It was a blade of grass that was right in front of the camera as they were videotaping these yahoos out there in the field blowing stuff up.
Right.
And the way the camera moved looks like, and the top of the grass piece looked just like a Bigfoot running into the woods.
Right. It was
And
so weird.
it was really strange. And then as soon as he brought that to my attention, I'm like, oh, hold on, I might have been drunk. Let me take a look at it again. And I was like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, because I remember you posted it and then you posted the retraction
I
video.
reposted. I said, guess what? I fucked up, guys. There it
Yeah.
is.
There it is. Yeah,
And
just a blade of grass.
Yep, and gave a shout out to Matt because he deserved it. Good catch.
Yeah, and you've always, as far as I know, you've always been good about that. Going back and correcting things that you've made mistakes.
Yeah,
with.
well, look at it this way. Look at it from the standpoint of money. It's another video.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Not that that's why I do it. I'm just my motive isn't that at all, as you know. I don't mind saying, yeah, I screwed up, and this is why I screwed up, because my subs deserve to know.
Yeah, and I like I said, I always like going to your channel because it's I'm not like, it's not an involved process. Like what's his name? Bigfoot Tony.
Yeah,
he does a great job. Don't get me wrong. Like
he does.
Yeah, but it's a very long and drawn out video, and you gotta sit down with your coffee and maybe a snack.
Well, with him, it's not just applying. Not just applying the way in which applying it to the video, applying the. I just lost it. He has to explain every step of the process,
right?
Rather
he
than
he breaks it right down.
Yeah, he does. This is why I'm going to do this, and this is why I'm going to do that, and so let's do that now. And it really lasts quite a while. And if you're not asleep by the end of it, you find out.
That's right. Like Maud Lebowski said, he's a good man and thorough.
But I've had complaints on the other side of the scale with mine. They're too short. These 3-minute videos just ain't going to cut it. You got to explain more and all this kind of jazz. And I think to myself, no, I say why I think the way I think and what's wrong with it, and that's it. And if it comes to an opinion situation at the end, that's what I say. It's my opinion. This is the reason for the opinion, and there, it's done. It's in the bag. It's in the can.
Now, in your opinion, now I obviously know that like recreations with videos, etc. What are some of the better things that people can do if they're presenting photo or video evidence to the public or to whoever?
It depends on why. Yeah, it depends on why they're doing it. If they're doing it thinking,
well, no, if you're doing it for legit reasons, what's the best way that they can, so that they're coming off not like a douchebag?
Well, if you see it at the time, go see what it is.
What do you mean?
If you're recording video at the time and you see something and you're recording it at the time and you say, my God, I think I caught a Bigfoot, go see what it is. Chances are it's not.
Right.
A lot of people say, oh, no, I'm not going to go chasing a Bigfoot. Well, I'm not going to argue with that. That's perfectly reasonable, but you're not running away from it either. You're sitting there filming it. Correct. Just go check it out. I did this in the Yellowstone Park. There was 2 figures that looked like it could be Bigfoot hiding from behind stuffs. And right on camera, I said, well, let's go see what it is. And I walked over there. Oh, it's a burnt stump. Wow. What do you know? Or after the fact, if you see something after the fact in an area that you were just in, go back and recreate it. At least make some attempt to go back at this not too long afterwards, so that everything's pretty much the same as it was when you recorded it, and go see if that thing is still there. And if it's still there, go look and see what it is. Because if it's still there, it's probably not what you thought it was.
Yeah, and I wonder how much of that is like even just these eyewitness accounts. You know what I mean? Not without any evidence. I wonder how much of that is like what you were just talking about, a couple of burned out stumps or whatever that people see out in the woods and they think they had a Bigfoot encounter, and they
Probably
just
happens all the time.
yeah. I wonder how often it's that, and we'll never know.
And also, I also wonder how often it happens when, let's say, a group is together or a couple of hikers or whatever. They see something, and they get the hell out of there because they think it's a Bigfoot, and then not even report it.
Right.
So not only do you not have a a video or a photograph, you also don't even have a story.
Yeah.
So it's catch is as catch can, as they say.
Oh yeah. Now, and I hesitate to even say his name on this show, Phil. For fear of his awesome retaliation.
Get ready with the siren.
That I know you hate him. David Paulides. Or Paulides. I don't know how you fucking pronounce his name.
I'd say Pilates.
Pilates.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's exercise, Phil. But
Yeah.
And
He invented Pilates,
well, I wouldn't put it past him to say that.
Okay.
But so, and I've had this conversation with you before.
All right.
I watch a popular YouTube channel, That Chapter. He does a lot of true crime stuff, and he did a video about Pilates. I don't know what the fuck we call him. A long time ago, and because he kind of got out of the whole. He still does the missing person stuff, but he doesn't do like the supernatural side of shit anymore. So, but his take on David was that while his theories may be out there, he sheds light on the subject of missing persons in national parks. And I wanted your take on just that.
Okay, my take is
what your thought is.
My thought is that people disappear in national parks every year.
Really
Absolutely true.
You really fucking hate him. So you don't think he does do you think he does more harm than good?
I don't know if I don't know. I know why he does it. He does it because,
well, listen, we all know why.
yeah, right. So we kind of expect it, and if people buy into the fantastical part of his stories or the events, that's kind of up to them. Does it do harm to these people? No, probably not. But the guy writes the books, he collects the money for them, and regardless of whether or not he is right or wrong in why he does it, or some of the things that he makes up along the way, is irrelevant to the end. The ends meeting the whatever. You know what I'm trying to say.
Do you
Right.
do you think that what he's done has any actual negative effect on the actual missing people cases that he's covered? Like, has it caused any harm to any of those?
I thought they were too far removed. I don't know of any recent cases.
True.
But I mean, people do disappear. There are family members that mourn the fact. But if you're 5 or 10 years down the road and you're reporting something that happened back then, I don't see how that could harm any relatives and just relaying the story. But I think that if it goes to the point where he's showing that there's some mystery involved in it, and that's the part that I never liked, is that he always makes everything seem like it's an
Fantastical.
an unexplained mystery, and then he puts a lot of events in what he calls clusters, which is not correct at all.
Right.
Cluster to him could be 300 miles away. Events could be 300 miles away from each other, and he'll still show it as a cluster.
Now, I will say there is one story that was in one of the documentaries, because he's put out a couple of them now, and I watch them just to see what's in there, because I like missing person stories anyway.
Yeah.
Like, so I like to hear the missing person stories, and I can compartmentalize the fact that, you know, they're trying to make it supernatural. But there's one story that they did, and it was of this hunting party, and I think it was like 5 or 6 guys or something like that, you know, all in a line out in the woods, and I can't remember all of the details, so I'm gonna butcher the shit out of this story. But one of the guys goes missing, and these hunters, like, and they talked to pretty much all of them that were there. I think one of them had passed, but they were like, we went and looked everywhere and we couldn't find anything, not a fucking thing of him. And what really got me about that one was how close everybody was together. Like, they were really close together. They were far enough apart so that they could barely see each other. And it's one of those stories that it baffles me. Like, because I just looking it over and looking at the area and the way these guys talk about what they did, and I mean, if it was an animal, there, just to me, something would have been left. Like something that he was carrying would have been dropped or whatever. They would have found something. They found nothing.
Yeah, right. Well, they have the needle in the haystack situation. Just because someone was in your party doesn't mean he can drop something and it'll be found.
Correct. That, yeah, absolutely. But I just find it the you know, where they looked immediately. You know what I mean? There's no.
Okay. Well, I don't know. Let's back up just a little bit. I don't know exactly what the situation, other than what you've just said. I've never read about this, but it's not beyond reason to, let's say, make a logical assumption that the guy, I got to take a leak. He stepped off the path. He went back there. He decided to put his gun down or whatever. He took a leak or a dump or whatever he could do. A mountain lion comes out of nowhere, grabs him around the throat, and drags him off. I mean, that can happen.
Right, but my problem with that is, even if he'd gone off the path, quote unquote, he still would have been in that area between them, because he was between 2 other people.
Okay. Well,
so they were walking out in a line. He was between them. And
the same scenario could have still happened.
Right. No, absolutely. But I still think they would have found something. Like, that's what weirds me out about that one, is that I think they would have found something.
You would hope, or you would think, yeah, it shouldn't be that much of a problem. You go into the bush, start nosing around, you're bound to find something. But when they do a search, let's say when law enforcement does a search for a person, let's say, and the person disappeared somewhere around this park, all right, how they search is they search a grid pattern and they go hand by hand. I mean, they're right next to each other, so they can't miss. And the reason they do that is because you can be 5 feet from something and not see it.
Right. And I know that even after the hunters went back over and looked over everything, they went out there with a group of people and did the grid search for him.
Okay.
And they like I said, they couldn't find not even anything. That was what weirded me out about that one the most. They just didn't find anything. Like, not a candy wrapper, not a fucking anything. It's just like he just vanished. And you know, and I agree with you, Phil. More than likely, probably some fucking mundane explanation, but on the surface, it's a really creepy story.
Yeah,
or
it could have been aliens.
They could have butt probed him and taken him. It's completely fucking possible. I'm not leaving that one out.
Beamed him right up.
I'm not leaving it out.
And nobody else saw the craft. It was close.
You know, and animals are fucked up. I mean, look at those goddamn lions there that were killing people. The movie
Yeah.
The Ghost in the Darkness was based
Oh
on.
yeah. They're pretty sneaky.
I mean, so shit happens, and like you said, it very well could have been an animal. It maybe all his stuff got tangled up with him. It fucking dragged him to hell and gone.
Well,
You know.
where my mind goes is actually that guy maybe faking his own disappearance.
Well, the weird thing about that is he was an old guy, like a really old guy.
Oh, okay.
He
Well, never mind
wasn't
then.
like a fucking. This wasn't like a 50-year-old guy or this is like a 70-something-year-old guy.
It seems
Yeah.
like there are a lot of things that should play into it that we simply don't know about.
Right.
Were there any caves near there? Any old mines or something?
Don't
Do
know.
they even go into that topography at all, or if there are
Don't
any
know.
cliffs
All
going
I
down
can
to
tell
it?
you is that this was a place that they frequented every year that they hunted.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
That's all I can tell you.
I don't think we have. I think we know the whole story here. That's what I'm thinking.
Got it all. We got it all figured out.
No, I don't think we just. I don't think we have enough information.
Yeah, pretty much. But there's one other one that gets me that he brought up, but this one, by the way, I don't think is supernatural at all, Phil. And I don't know if you've ever heard about this: the disappearance of Dior Kuntz.
No.
I don't know the name. Go
Yeah,
ahead.
that's the one that stands out to me too.
It's a little. He was a little boy.
The one that he was discovered like 25 miles away.
Nope. Nope.
Okay.
I don't think they've
No,
ever.
but
found
those
him.
ones get me. Those ones make me scratch my head when you find the kid way too far than they should have been able to walk.
So he goes on a fishing trip with his family, with his mother and his father, his grandfather, and some guy that the grandfather knows, to this spot out in the middle of fucking bumfuck. I don't know where the fuck it was. And he's down. I think he's down fishing. No, his father's down fishing or whatever, and says to go get him or something. And he's up with the grandfather. They go up. They had sent him up to be with the grandfather. Goes up to get him, and he's just gone. But the weird thing about this story, Phil, is the people. The people are lying their fucking faces off, in my opinion. Everybody in this story, there's some deception. And the cops have said this. The private investigators that have been hired have said this. It's a pretty fucked up story. But like I said, it doesn't. This is a story that doesn't get me because it's supernatural in any way. It gets me because why are people so fucked up that they can't just tell the truth about what happened?
Yeah.
Because they love Granddaddy too much to say what Granddaddy did to the little boy.
Well, I don't listen. I don't know.
I'm just assuming
the parents. The parents seem pretty shitty in that one, and there's questions about whether or not the kid ever even went on the trip. Like it gets really, like, that's one of those ones where it gets really deep. But here's it kind of irritates me that was part of a 411 documentary.
Oh, you're kidding.
You know what I mean? Because it's obvious that it wasn't anything supernatural.
Yeah. Well,
At all.
Yeah, it's kind of a mystery, but I think it's more of a law enforcement mystery than anything else.
Right. And hey, I like those too. I mean, I don't like them. I don't like it when a fucking little kid gets fucking taken or killed or whatever. But I
watch the show. Yeah.
Right. I like watching true crime, and I like watching those types of mysteries just as much as I like a supernatural mystery. I think they're just as valid, to me in the entertaining factor of looking at it and going, "Oh, what happened here?" Because we all want to look at that shit.
Yeah, if it bleeds, it leads.
But I did realize something about myself, Phil, and I was thinking back to my childhood, and I remember do you remember when they used to have those Kirby vacuum cleaner salesmen?
Yes.
My aunt had a Kirby vacuum cleaner salesman come to the house and do his little spiel. And after he left, boy, I was sold on a Kirby fucking vacuum cleaner at age whatever the fuck I was. And I was probably in my teens or something. And I got thinking about it today. I was driving home and I was like, you know what, you dumb motherfucker? You get sucked into that shit because you just want to believe. You just...
And in my case, and I feel the same way, and I was the same way when I was young. I wanted to believe because I wanted to think that, people were good people. And if they told me something and it was like an authoritarian type of a situation, like a school teacher,
Right.
that was my job to believe them.
Yeah.
And
then you grow up.
And then you realize, oh shit, was I gullible or what? I have a close friend and he told me to do this. He said, no, go ahead and do this. It'll be fun. And it wasn't fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I won't jump off the roof with a blanket again. It's
or the umbrella.
The umbrella trick. Sure. It's so yeah. So I get exactly where you're coming from, but it's like, yeah, I want to believe this guy because I like him, or I want him to like me, or I see him as someone I can trust. Yeah. And when you're a kid, you trust a lot of people you shouldn't be trusted.
Oh yeah, and it just. But I was of the I. That's why when I watch a lot of this stuff, I need somebody like you out there. Like, I'm one of those people where I need somebody who's out there, like, with their head on a fucking swivel, like, looking at shit.
Spoiling the fun.
Right. Because I'm just going to look at it and go, because I don't know. I don't have the know-how. I don't have the know-how to friggin' look at this and know that this is fake, or, I don't have that. I mean, sometimes I can look at a Bigfoot video or a UFO video and go, yeah, that's bullshit. Right. I don't need your expertise for that. But there are cases when it's like, okay, I might need somebody to show me what the fuck this is. And, honestly, that's why I'm glad that there are people like you out there, Phil, because if I didn't have that, I would have no compass in this world of paranormal videos, because otherwise I'd just willy-nilly be like, ooh, it's a Bigfoot.
Well, there are people like me out there, that. I mean, the Bigfoot Tony people, and I guess there's a few more.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There are people out there, but
there was a time when we were inundated. When I first showed up on the scene, remember the Facebook Find Bigfoot group?
Oh God. It was every day.
Every single day.
You remember? It was every day. Every single fucking day, there would be a new video out of something somewhere, and I was shocked at the time. And in a way, I felt like it was, and I know it wasn't. In a way, it was, but I felt like it was somehow fabricated on a big level. But I know it was fabricated on smaller levels and just all put together.
Yeah, it was like a team of guys, and they were seeing what they could come up with, and of course, right behind them was, I'm no expert, but this is a real Bigfoot.
Fucking MK Davis,
and it was all hitting at one time, and they were just popping up out of nowhere. So
So,
many different channels.
before we let you go tonight, Phil, what take Patty, take fucking, the Freeman footage out of the equation. Is there anything beyond those two that you like that's out there for footage?
Oh, I don't know.
No, no idea.
Nah,
No, all right.
not really.
Oh, great.
No.
Do you do you do you still have faith in the idea that there's a bipedal primate in North America?
Yeah, because I heard one.
You heard one like Steve?
It
Didn't
was
you see one?
no, I heard one, and it's
You-
the only thing that it could have been. And I've been trying all these years to match up what I heard, and when I heard a couple of the recordings that were done in Ohio and here in Washington State, I first time I heard it, I was like, "Son of a bitch, that's it. That's what I heard." No, there
How
wasn't a bear, and
how would you describe it?
a mournful howl, very human sounding, but I would say 20 times louder than any human being could ever howl. It wasn't a wolf. It was not canine. It wasn't a siren.
Right, right.
It was a direct. It was a pronunciation. It was aw sounding, and I don't know any animal that actually can pronunciate in that way. It did. It was so loud, man. It was loud and big. Whatever it was huge. It was huge. Yeah. I do. I believe that there's a bipedal primate running around, and yep, I've heard some stories from people that I respect that would not bullshit me, that kind of make the hairs in the back of your head stand up on end. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, no, I still have stories of people or that I've heard from people that I won't discount their encounters.
Right.
There's certain people that I've heard that I won't discount it, but I'm always curious to see how people's belief in this whole thing evolves over time.
Yeah.
Because any amount of time on something changes how you feel about it. Whether you're more into it.
That's true, but if you look at I don't know how my feelings about it, generally speaking, have survived after seeing all of the hoaxing.
Right.
I think should point out to some people that it's not BS. What I'm doing is not BS. So if I tell you I heard one, you can pretty much put money on it.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I wasn't there, so I can't.
Right.
I can't.
Well, you see, you don't matter.
Yeah. And there is some. I'll actually ask you something after the show because it's something that's touchy for me as a subject. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. We'll leave that as a little tidbit you all ain't gonna get to fucking hear. But Phil, thanks. You'll get to hear it, Katie.
Yeah.
But thanks for coming on, Phil. Appreciate it. It was a good time getting to talk to you. And we will be back next week. I don't know with fucking what.
I'm not talking about the Browns.
No. No, we're not talking about that. And we'll be back with our regular show next week. I'm not gonna get into the news tonight. I just wanted to talk to Phil and get his take on a few things and see what his feelings were. I thought it was a great show. We will be back next Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, probably with our regular news broadcast. Until then, see ya!